So welcome to another amazing summit with Empowered Talks. I have some absolutely amazing, as always, speakers who will start to trickle in shortly. I try to get on here a little bit earlier so that I can make sure that the technology works. This is the beauty of virtual. And I don't see that this is, I hope this is recording. I'm not seeing anything here. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing amazing and you will love Leadership with Heart. Leadership with Heart is, oh my gosh, it is so important in business that we lead with our heart. You know, I don't know how many of you know, but I am a doctor of metaphysics. And I work a lot with energy in mind and energy in heart. And so everything is from the heart and typically for a higher purpose. And everything I do is different. Even when I work with real estate, I'm not your typical real estate agent. I work with people on tougher projects that are, more detailed and need some extra hand holding. And I feel like I'm here to do something higher, like a higher purpose, not just to do business and make money, although there's certainly nothing wrong with making money. Money's important. That's the energy that we all have chosen here on earth. And so we have to work for money, of course. But you can't just do it for money. It just doesn't work as well when you do it only for money. It's best if you can work from the heart, work with a passion that can really only come from your heart. I mean, it's good to work with the brain. Brain is important. Of course, we all need one, right? It's tough to function without one, but you can't even live without a heart, right? And so if you're not working from the heart, life is going to be hard. Like everything is going to be hard. It's just going to be harder. And it's so much more better. And that may not be proper English, and that's okay. And I do have a publishing company, so that's important. I like to share all kinds of things with people because part of what I'm here to do is to help people see their greatness and to also explain to them that perfectionism isn't necessary and it doesn't even serve you. It doesn't serve other people either, because you're not doing any good to them, because everyone sees you being perfect and then everyone's like, what? I have to do this to do that? No, you don't have to do anything. And you know what? You don't have to be perfect, and you shouldn't be perfect. So, but you should be from the heart. It is super important to lead from the heart, and not just even to lead, but like, you don't need to be leading a large team. When I say leadership, right? Like leadership could be, you could be a solopreneur and leading your clients in whatever it is you're leading. If you're coaching, or if you're, we have a lot of coaches on my summits. We have some real estate agents. And pretty much everyone's an entrepreneur. A lot of them are solopreneurs. A lot of them are, network marketing, big companies, but they work on contract and then they have their own businesses. But it's super, super important to, I think, and I feel that it's important to work with integrity. And it seems to be very difficult to work with integrity for many, many people. It's so easy to go for what's easier, what's quicker, what's better, what's this, what's that, and it's hard to kind of stay within your own energy and to do the right thing, because the right thing doesn't always bring you the largest amount of money. And it's not always about the money, although everyone seems to think it is. Everyone seems to think everything is about money, but it isn't. Just because you're doing it for work doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything. I've said no to plenty of things. I could have been a quadrillionaire by now. Is that even a real word? When you could make money this way, that way, or the other way. No, I really like helping people. Like, I like helping people. And if I'm not saying that I don't sometimes bend a rule. I don't break it necessarily, but I definitely will bend it and twist it until I can suck the life out of it to help someone, because rules are man-made and a lot of them are necessary. I get it. But a lot of them are, I don't know, I don't think they're quite that necessary, and they need to be so dictatable. Like, it's just no. Like, no, it doesn't. Like, let's have some flexibility, and let's not forget that we're all human beings, and let's not forget that we're all together in this. And I'm starting to really like that word. What do y'all think about the word together? I think it's one of the most amazing words. So I've been trying to come up with another name for my, I'm going to have a women's group. And I think I may have a men's group as well. I may even have one that does everyone together, and then women only one day of the month, men only one day of the month, and the other 2 times we'll have everyone. So that way it's once a week for everyone. I'm a little bit time challenged. For those of you who know me, it's always a little bit of a laughing matter when they say, do you have time? And I'm like, the answer is going to be probably no, but let me see if I can squeeze it in. So I think I really like the word empowered together. It's always got to be empowered, right? Like my empowered group, right? Spelled MP-howard, because those are my initials. And I said I was going to change my thing to doctor. And I think empowered together. I think that's a perfect word, and it's everybody together, and it's male, female, together, all of us in the world, which is kind of my big thing. And it's the reason why I offer these summits to the public for free, because I want to help empower the world. So I may end up doing some other summits later on that are maybe not for free and they're done slightly different. But for these ones, because they're so motivational, they're so perfect for people who are entering the world of business, because there's so much shifting going on in the last few years, right? After we sort of were allowed to stay home, and for some people it's allowed to stay home. For other people, oh my gosh, yay, we get to stay home, I'm finally allowed, it's great. Others like, oh gosh, I have to stay home, like I don't have an office to go to. Some people like going to an office. There's nothing wrong with that either. I personally like staying at home because I get far more done, and I have a dog and he needs to go out. And so for me, this just happens to work better, and I like it. I also get to leave a lot because I have to do showings and open houses. And one of the things I've taken on is that I have a lot of properties out of town. So I end up like doing an open house for one of my listings could be an entire day. It could be 2 hours to get there, and it could be 2 hours to get back, and then you're there for 2 or maybe 3 hours. Sometimes, I know most open houses are 2 hours, but sometimes I extend mine to 3, and sometimes 4, and sometimes 5 hours. It just depends. Depends on how busy it is. I'm happy to do it, once or twice like that, usually not after that. But yeah, and thank goodness the real estate market is picking up. Yay. Yay for real estate. And you know what? It's fantastic. There's so much amazing stuff out there that you can buy, and so many different properties. I'm sitting on, well, not sitting on them, but haven't even put them out yet. We're just in talks. I have 3 listings coming out that are all out of town, and they're all amazing for first time investors. They are all under 300,000 Canadian. For those of you who are in the US, that's I don't even know. I think it's like 200 for the US. It's amazing. The prices are really, really wonderful. I do have some other ones. I have a townhouse here in Mississauga coming out for $1 million, but it's been freshly renovated. It's walking distance to a GO train station. I mean, it has, other reasons why it's so amazing, but we're not here to talk about real estate. I just thought I'd mention that because it's an awesome industry. And while I work for myself, I do work under a brokerage, and I do lead, and I lead my clients. They rely on me to be the expert. And it's been very interesting. I've been doing real estate for 14 years, and this year has been the most interesting out of all 14 years. Like, it is unbelievable. Some of the things that are coming out, and it's so hard to predict. Usually I can answer a question like this, whatever it is, oh, this is how much I think we should do. Whereas now it's like, well, we can try this, but we're not really sure how long we're going to sit on the market. I've had properties that we've had 3 and 4 offers on, and they haven't been able to sell because the people buying them are unable to qualify, and they need to get a co-signer. In some cases people can, and in some cases people needed 2 co-signers. It just wasn't enough. The rates have gone up so much that it was really difficult to qualify. And then I get another property, and I put it up Friday, and I sell it by Monday afternoon. So there's no rhyme or reason here. And I'm a good agent, experienced, I know what I'm doing, and all kinds of different things come up. But I've got friends of mine calling me going, I can't believe I have like 5 listings and I'm sitting on them and I can't move nothing is moving. And I said, yeah. And and then there's areas that are moving. So sometimes it's the price point, sometimes it's, it is what it is. The energy is just drop all expectations. Do you need to sell, and do you need to sell fast? Because you need to be flexible then, and we need to be available for people, because sometimes you just, I don't know, it's hard to do things. In this market, it's tough to predict. Anyone who's predicting something with such security is, I don't know why they're doing that, because none of us really know what's going on. That's the real answer. But yeah, there's some things that you can certainly do to make life a little easier. And we've had to do some extra advertising, extra everything, which is fine. It's good. It's good. And it's going to bounce back. Whatever comes down must bounce right back up. In fact, I think the lower it goes, the higher it'll bounce, right? It's kind of like when we talk about all these different things that we've had in our life, all the different adversities that we've overcome and challenges. And, people have filed for bankruptcy and come back. We were talking about that. I'm taking actually a Think and Grow Rich coaching program. So at age 62, and I've been a coach for at least 40 years, I'm taking more courses. So if you think you're done, if you think you know everything, you're not. You're not done, and you don't know everything. And you should never stop growing, and you should never stop learning. That's the should that I'm going to throw out there for all of us. And that's about it. So let me see. It is now 9 o'clock. I want to see if I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay. So we're just waiting on Lori. She will be joining us shortly. And so sometimes we have technical difficulties. So I just want to make sure that we are, I think we are, I think maybe, oh, there it is. Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry. So there's my recording in progress. I'm thinking, how come this isn't recording? So yes, so we'll be joined by Lori. So Lori's amazing, actually. She is a social media guru and a business strategist, and she didn't get around to, and I changed computers, so that's why I'm a little discombobulated here too. I now have a brand new computer here and here, and they're both fairly large screens. So now I'm like, okay, so now when I'm doing my real estate, I have something here and here, and when I'm doing all my bios and getting everything ready, it's kind of cool. I wasn't really going to keep this one, but I kind of like having the two. It's really very cool. And then I have my phone to see, what's happening and what's gone live on Facebook and so on and so forth. And it's very cool. So I somehow lost all the bios, so I've had everyone try to give me their bios, and Lori says, maybe you could just introduce me. And I said, don't even worry about it. But she is amazing. And she also has a program that she'll be telling you about. So if you want to enter her program, it is both for men and women, and it's absolutely amazing. She has a once a month event on Zoom, and the rest of the time she, actually, I'm not even going to talk about it because she's coming in right now, so I'm going to let her speak. And hopefully, there she is. Hi, Lori.
Hello.
Welcome. There she is.
Here I am.
When I see your sign, when I see your logo, the Lori McNeil logo, I love it. That's the best that I know my Lori's here. So I was telling them about you and your program, and I thought I better stop talking about it because you're going to talk to them about your program. So I did tell them that you are a social media specialist and a business strategist. And is there something else I should be adding here? Awesome.
No, basically, if you have a business problem, that's what I do. I solve business problems all day long.
There you go. I'm going to take myself off of here, and I will let you listen to Lori McNeil. Oh my goodness. There you go, Lori.
Yeah.
The camera's a tiny bit fuzzy. Can you do the hand thing and see if that doesn't help?
Oh, on my camera?
Yeah. You know, when you do the camera, like you put your hand here and then it just goes clearer for some reason. Somebody taught me that the other day, and I said, really? Oh, no, I don't know. I guess.
Let me see if I can, be really official and like wipe the screen.
Yes. Yes. And that's a professional cloth that you're, that's a professional sweater we're using. No,
yeah, it is a little bit fuzzy. That's so weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. Oh, there we go. There's Cedric. Okay, well, I'll let you talk because I should stay quiet, and it's already 9:10. So with that, I give you Lori.
Yes.
Go, Lori. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Marianne. And, technology's funny, but this time it was my fault because I kept typing in like the wrong passcode. I was like, what's going on? So anyway, thank you so much for your patience. And yes, I am Lori McNeil. I am an international business strategist that specializes in media branding and marketing. And I teach the trifecta of those three things to impact more people and increase sales. And I love what I do. I do it every single day. I've been doing it for over 28 years globally. And I help a lot of businesses, both brick and mortar and online, get to the foundational tools needed in order to really catapult their business in ways that they never thought possible. So that is what I get to jump out of bed and do every single morning. But one of the things that we're talking about today is leadership. And it is so, so important, no matter what your area of specialization is, no matter what you do, that you maintain that position of complete leadership and integrity. And it's so important as we're talking about this topic of leadership today, that you understand that you cannot be a leader without integrity. Those two things go hand in hand. You have to be a person of integrity to even lead yourself, lead people, lead a project, lead anything. So that's really important to understand that connection. And it's really easy for people to want to think highly of themselves. As people, we think like, well, I'm a good person. Of course, I wouldn't, do anything to be unethical or not integrity with somebody or whatever. But the reality is that when we think about integrity and when we think about leadership, there's things that we do every single day that we might not even be aware of, or be aware of exactly how to fix them. And I'm going to get in a second, I'm going to get to how this relates to the business strategies and overall things in a minute. But given the topic today, I just really wanted to start it off with the mindset of what it is that we need to do as leaders and how we can show up every day in the world that makes a huge difference in how we're serving people. And there's a lot of different things that that we think about with integrity or that we don't think about with integrity that make all the difference in the world in our business. And one of the big questions that I get asked regularly is, well, of course I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm going to have follow through with that. And I think on a basic level that we all understand that, yeah, if you say you're going to do something, you follow through with what you say you're going to do. But really there's components to that are missing in a way that maybe people haven't ever heard before. And that is, when you're out of integrity, how do you get back into integrity? How do you maintain that strong position of leadership and authority when you've made a mistake? Now, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we're out of integrity and we don't even realize that we're out of integrity. We don't even realize how that's affecting our leadership. But as leaders, it is our responsibility to take action once we are aware of what it is that needs to be changed. And write this down. An apology without action is actually manipulation. So if something has been brought to your attention and you have been made aware of something that needs to be changed, you absolutely need to fix it, make it right, apology. But if you do not take the time, the effort, the whatever it is to make that change that needs to be made, then that's just manipulation. Even if you don't really intend for it to be, you have the responsibility to do what's needed in order to truly get back into integrity. So that's something that I want you guys to really think about in your own actions. And what you are doing every day in the world is, once you've been out of integrity, what do you actually need to do to get back into integrity? So, and a lot of us will recognize this. We'll think, whether it's our spouse or our kids or a friend or a colleague or whatever, there's many times I'm sure that we can all think about when somebody keeps doing something. Like, man, they keep doing this. They keep making the same mistake over and over. Now, habits are they can be very challenging to try to reestablish. You have to change your mindset, first of all, before you can even change your actions behind that. So those habits can be really hard to reestablish. But what you also need to understand is that the person will have a lot more patience and grace with you if they can see that you are working hard to change those, versus if you're just continuing to make the same mistake and make the same apology over and over and over and over. So there's a huge difference behind how that process works and how human nature is in that process. So once you have established that, then you go to that person, you have that conversation, you meet them where they're at, and you have that conversation with, how can I make this right to you? Not, this is what I'm willing to do to make it right. And sometimes you need to do that because the person may not know, but it's about what's important to them, not necessarily what's going to serve you from that selfish perspective. So when you're out of integrity, it's really important that you understand how the process works in order to get back into integrity. And then you establish the timeline for when that might, take place. So if you're out of integrity with your wife, for instance, or your husband, your spouse, your kids, then it's, okay, this is what we're going to do on this day at this time. You don't leave things open-ended. You don't say, I'll make it up to you. I'll make it up to you, next week, next month, whatever. You don't leave it open-ended. You hold yourself accountable. There's an expectation there, and then you show up and you make it right. And so there's definitely a process within that. If you have a conflict with somebody, if you have an argument with somebody, sometimes you need to take those breaks, and that's okay. You need to process, you need to think, you need to make sure that you're coming at it, not overly emotional, all those kind of things. But in order to stay in integrity with the respectfulness of the process, you establish that day and time where you're coming together. Okay, let's go think about it. Let's process it. Let's gather information. And then we will come to a resolution and come back to conversation at 6 o'clock or on Wednesday at noon, whatever it is. And when you implement those specific things, it makes a huge difference in building the relationship and maintaining that relationship. It makes a huge difference in the communication, the overall expectation, the trust. Because remember, when you are out of integrity with somebody, even as much as they love you and as much as they've known you, you are chipping away at that trust factor. So you have to be very aware of what's going on inside yourself. You have to be very aware of what's going on inside of somebody else and what you need to do to actually really repair that person, that process, and the outcome that's going to be a win-win. So now some of you may think, okay, I can see how this ties in with leadership. I can see how this ties in with, the integrity and the importance of the topic of what this month's summit is about. But then how does that transfer into some of the stuff that I talk about every day in business, which is, in branding and media and marketing? Well, first of all, you have to be in integrity with yourself. You have to be a person that is of strong leadership, because that absolutely affects how you show up. When you show up to an interview, when you show up to a summit, when you show up on stage, you are giving off that energy that you may or may not be aware of fully. When you are out of integrity, it absolutely affects your mindset. It affects how you're showing up. It affects the speed in which you speak. It affects the words that are coming out of your mouth. It absolutely affects so much more than what you might consciously be aware of. If you're somebody that struggles with this and you're constantly in conflict, you're constantly stressed, you're constantly out of integrity, you have all of these things going on behind the scenes, it will absolutely affect your momentum. It'll affect your focus. It'll affect your messaging in your overall business. It'll affect your sales. It will actually serve as a ripple effect for everything that you're trying to accomplish. So it will feel like you're, swimming upstream, so to speak, because you're thinking, man, I'm working so hard. Like, why am I not getting the clients? Why am I not getting the sales? Why am I not, why am I having such a hard time? And I always teach, you have to go back to those foundational tools. You have to go back to what is it that you are not doing that you should be doing. And when you think about these types of business strategies, you think about these foundational things that have to be in place, then you want to think about the tortoise and the hare. It's that consistent action that actually makes a huge difference, that allows you to catapult your momentum, catapult your success way beyond someone that looks like they're going faster than you. You're actually going to end up passing them up if you pay attention to that foundation that has to be built. You cannot sweep things under the rug as much as people try. You cannot fake it till you make it as much as people try. When you pay attention to building that strong foundation, it's actually going to be the thing that gets you further faster than you think, honestly. So a lot of people get caught up between like what's going on around them, and they kind of get involved in that competition mode more than they might realize, because they want that success so badly. And they want that, whether that's social proof or recognition or more stages or whatever it is, those credentials. And they start to make very, very important mistakes, and the foundation of what it is that they're building starts to crumble more and more and more, because they're not actually backing up and doing what needs to be done. And once that foundation is built solidly, you will be amazed at how fast you can actually go. So it starts with your mindset. It starts with understanding, staying in that integrity piece internally. Now, what do I mean by that? Because sometimes people ask me, well, what do you mean when I care so much about serving other people? How am I out of integrity with myself? We all have different desires. We all have different goals. We all have different things that are important to us. When we let go of those things, we are out of integrity with ourselves, even if we're trying to convince ourselves that the reason we're out of integrity with ourselves is because we're serving someone else. When the reality is we can't fully serve anyone when we are out of integrity with ourselves. So let me give you an example. Every morning, we have non-negotiables. Most people have non-negotiables at some point during their day. For some people, it may be, I've got to have that meditation time. I've got to have my coffee time. I've got to have my prayer time. I've got to go for a walk. I've got to do certain things throughout the day. It's important that I eat lunch with my, spouse every day, or whatever that looks like for you. It's important that I shut off social media by 7 o'clock. We all have those non-negotiables throughout our day that we have to have, that in order to maintain that balance that we need for us, whatever that looks like. when you get out of integrity with yourself is when you start to let those non-negotiables go, because you're justifying in your mind that you're doing something else that's maybe more important for that day or for that month or for that week. And then pretty soon that's not a habit anymore. And you're actually out of balance in ways that you need to have in your life as non-negotiables so that you can maintain that balance. So when you get out of integrity with yourself, then it flows externally. Everything internally affects the external. So then it actually becomes a lot easier for you to be out of integrity with other people. So when you maintain that boundary, when you maintain that integrity with yourself, when you maintain that respect with yourself, then you have that strength and that foundation built internally in order to be more aware of how you are making those decisions externally when it comes to being out of integrity. Now, do people make mistakes? Absolutely. But there is that process that I referred to with how to get back into integrity and rebuild that trust, kind of rebuild and maintain that relationship as you move forward. And then don't forget that an apology without changed behavior is manipulation. Even if you don't mean it that way, it's exactly what it is. So it's got to be important to you to maintain this integrity. You are not the leader that you think you are when you lack integrity. They go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. So when you show up on stage, when you show up on a television platform, when you are posting on social media, your messaging, your photographs, all of that, whether you are aware or not, is an external manifestation of what's going on in your life internally or behind the scenes in ways that you think nobody is aware of. There's an energy that you are putting out there in the world that's very, very different than what some of you may intend. And it's because that foundation is crumbling or isn't built yet. So the words that you speak when you are on any stage or on any coaching call or in any meeting with somebody are very, very different when you are talking with someone that has integrity or that practices strengthening their integrity versus someone that is trying to kind of fake it till you make it and think it's not as important and they'll understand and I'll catch them next time, and all these things that we do or say to ourselves in order to justify our own behavior. So you have to really be aware of these things and understand that in the world of media, branding, and marketing, when you're trying to impact more people and increase sales, this is a direct correlation with that. 100% direct correlation with how people work with you, how they see you, how they perceive you. So this is one of those foundational things that you cannot ignore. This is one of the reasons why you'll notice that some people might have kind of strange social media postings from time to time. It's because they actually are coming from a place of lack of integrity or from victimization or from wounds or from sometimes lack of understanding. But there's usually a lot of other things that are going on there behind the scenes, and they don't even realize sometimes how they're coming across to people. So pay attention to your social media, pay attention to your messaging, stay very laser focused on your messaging and what you're communicating out to the world in that, and understand that it all matters and it's all being taken in different ways. You just need to know and pay attention to what you're communicating out to the world actually what you want people to think and feel and experience from you. Because when you talk about media and branding and marketing, it's about that connection. People have to like, know, and trust you. Well, if you're not coming from a place internally that you need to be coming from, externally, you're not even communicating what it is that you're even after. And there's a lot of miscommunication, misunderstanding, high frustration because people aren't necessarily understanding these correlations and these connections. So when you are out of integrity with people, when you're lacking sales, when you don't have this foundation, your messaging will come across like scarcity. It'll come across desperate. It'll come across negative. It will be super confusing. There's all these things that will happen, and then you'll wonder why people aren't connecting to you. While they're maybe following you and supporting you, but they're not actually transitioning into that sale. We've all heard that, people have to like, know, and trust you before they buy from you. Well, the trust factor is huge, subconsciously and consciously, when you're out of integrity, and people can feel that. Even if they like you, even if they want to be in your sphere, they're not quite taking action because there's something that's out of sync. There's something that's not quite connecting for them to where they feel like you're a strong leader, or you're one that can solve their problem, or even if your messaging is just all confusing. So write this down: a confused mind never buys. So if you are super scattered in your messaging, if you're super scattered in your communication with things, then people might like you, they might be interested, but they're not going to buy from you, and they're not going to want to work with you if they feel super confused by what it is that you do, if you aren't even communicating that you know who you are and what you do. So you have to be very, very aware of all of these things as you're navigating and building your business across all of these different modalities and all of these different, platforms in these different ways, because it's all got to connect. It's all got to connect. It's all has to make sense, and it's got to be super, super crystal clear in all of that. And some people may say, well, I've been doing this for, 10, 15, 20 plus years. Of course, I know what I'm talking about. But I want you to do a real deep dive with yourself, back way up, and evaluate some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you today. And Marianne knows every time I get on her monthly stages, I talk about something completely different. I talk about it from a different perspective. I share different insights. I share different things that I want you guys to really do a deep dive and evaluate, because it makes a huge difference in how you move forward in your business. So you have to be honest with yourself about what it is that you need to do. If you are out of integrity with a client, if you're constantly showing up, late to calls, for instance, or if you are out of integrity with your personal life, you will be out of integrity in your professional life. You should not be two different people. You are the same person. If you're lacking integrity in one area of your life, you're probably lacking integrity in several areas of your life. So you have to be honest with yourself about what that looks like, and be committed to the process of being that stronger leader with stronger levels of integrity to build that foundation that you need, because you're not showing up for the world in the ways that the world needs you to show up. You are all gifted in very specific ways, and your internal tools in your toolbox are uniquely meant for you. You build your toolbox every single day with new people, new experiences, new courses, new things that you might learn. All of those tools are specific to you and who you were created to be. No one else can use those tools in the same way, which means your internal toolbox helps you to solve external problems in only a way that you can. When you are constantly committed to the process, you are adding to the tools in your toolbox that allows you to serve the people that you were meant to serve. Some people may follow you on social media for years before they reach out to you. I have it happen to me all the time. So when your messaging is off, when your energy is off, when your vibe is off, when you're not using the right photos, when there's all of these things on just a basic level, then those people are going to take longer to, even though they like you, to really buy from you, because they're not quite understanding, and they need more from you. They need you to show up in a stronger way. You cannot be a leader in your industry without being committed to the process of having strong integrity and being committed to that every single day, and taking a look to what that looks like across the board. Maybe it's to your animals, maybe it's to your neighbor, maybe it's to your community, maybe it's to your kids, it's to your clients. It's all interconnected. If you're out of integrity in one area, I promise you, you're out of integrity in other ways. You just need to identify what those are and go after it and change that behavior so that you can show up in a stronger way. You're not going to be able to show up on social media, on stage, on television, on a podcast, on a radio in the strongest way possible unless you actually back that up and actually do some of the stuff that I'm suggesting. So, Marianne, this is a very different way that I've approached this, but I want to, because I know we're running a few minutes late and I want to respect the rest of the schedule. So I want to open it up for just comments, questions, before I move forward and kind of wrap this up so that we can get to the next speaker. So Marianne, do you see any questions in the comments, or if any of those are with us live want to comment, then we can just do that for a couple minutes.
There's no questions, but there's, yeah, commit to it to keep leveling up for your clients, from Nikki Cruz. She's here with us here. She was in an appointment, so she just joined us. She's going to hang out with me most of the day.
Awesome. Hi, Nikki.
It's so true, because, you know, before, so I had some technical difficulties like always. And this time it's just because my computer's new and I'm not, I put my Zoom, I didn't do the regular, whatever I was supposed to do. And so it wasn't recording. So who knows where I started recording, but anyways, it's okay. My social media girl loves me. My video, what do you call it? Editor. And I was actually talking about integrity as well. And, you know, leadership from the heart really does involve a lot of integrity and passion and where you're coming from. So everything you say, ditto, ditto, ditto. I think, you know, integrity is so huge. And the reason I love integrity so much, it's a little bit unfortunate, but I love it because it's so rare. And I don't love that it's rare. I just love it when I see it, because in business, it's probably the easiest place to just roll right out of integrity and just do it because you need the money, do it because of this, do it because of that. And people will do all kinds of crazy things because they need the money. And then it's like, wow, what happens to you? How do you sleep at night? You know, and are you sleeping at night? You know, and do you have peace of heart and peace of mind? You know, one of the most important things we talk about in my Think and Grow Rich coaching program, which is another thing I talked about. I'm like, yeah, after 40 years of coaching, I'm in another coaching program. So you should never stop learning, first of all, if you're a leader of any kind. And if you are an entrepreneur, you're always leading someone somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Even if you're a solopreneur, you're still leading your clients somewhere. And yeah, we talk about how important peace of mind is. And you could have all the money in the world, and you could have 25 billion clients and people bowing down to you, and so on and so forth, all kinds of different things, you know, that people need, whether it's significance or, you know, security or whatever. And peace of mind is, you can't, it's hard to buy that, right? Like, I mean, money will provide certainly some peace of mind, right? But not everything. So I love integrity. I love that you talk about integrity, because you actually are one of the people that I really think that I feel like you have a ton of integrity, especially when you're doing business. It's, you know, we know each other a little bit on a personal level too. We get to talk sometimes at midnight, because that's the only time we have, because we're so busy, right? But also, it's just the way you do your work, and you know, for what you do, some of the I want you to tell everyone about your program, because that's one of the things that I'm talking about. Is she could easily charge more, and she doesn't. So I'm gonna let Lori tell you about it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's just barely launched, barely getting off the ground, and I've got a whole bunch of content that I'm getting ready to also put inside this special global exclusive membership. And you guys are in it. Both of you guys are in it. There's a lot of other amazing rock stars that are in it. Lots of amazing people that are coming in it. It is business builders, and it's a global exclusive membership club. Mm-hmm. And the value is insane, and what I'm building out in it is insane. And right now I'm enrolling elite members for only $47. And it's weekly trainings. It's the global network. We do fun live coaching calls with guests. It's prizes, all kinds of different prizes all the time. I mean, it's just, we have a ton of fun. We learn a lot. I have all kinds of fresh video content that I record on a regular basis and upload. to it. Fresh meaning I don't just pull it from other random sources and put it together. Like I'm reporting very specific topics in real time on a regular basis that they're specific to Business Builders program. You won't find anywhere else. And so for $47, like the value is insane and what's being built out is incredible. So we are enrolling elite members right now for only $47. So if anyone is interested in becoming elite member, go to bbmembership.net and grab your spot. You get access right away. Introduce yourself to the group, start watching some of the trainings. We're actually having our second live coaching call with a guest and live hot seat coaching and prize event coming up on October 1st. So now is the perfect time to actually get in on that, get to know people, start watching some of the trainings I have uploaded, and get yourself ready for an amazing call. And Marianne, you were in on that last call. Was it not absolutely incredible?
It was. I was like this. I had notes. Like I have journals, and I like writing because it's important. It helps me remember things. And I've had pages and pages. And Jason was so amazing. Without saying his last name, I don't want to say it because Jason has agreed to be on my next summit. Yes. He is actually in Canada as we speak, but he's speaking in person at a summit. So on the other side of Canada. Canada's huge. So he is in BC right now, but he is in October. He's going to be on healthology. He is such an amazing speaker. Watch out, people. Watch out. And both Lori and Jason will be here. And I'm not telling you his last name until the poster actually goes out. But oh, such great information. And I'm just going to say Tony Robbins, la 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 la, and that's it.
He was incredible. And that's just an example of the amazing people that I have in my network that I'm bringing to Business Builders that are also special guests pouring into everyone involved at a very, very high level. Like what we have gone over so far and what we did on the last live coaching and training session was very high level and absolutely incredible. And there's more to come on that. Not to mention, there's just going to be all kinds of opportunities for the members to be highlighted and be featured in media and just all kinds of ongoing things. So for $47, it's an opportunity for you to get involved, and then you're locked in for that. So the price will continue to go up. It's actually gonna end at $9.97 a month, which is still going to be an incredible opportunity at the $9.97. So anybody that comes at $47 is like, you're locked in for that, and it's like a smoking deal. So bbmembership.net, get in on the ground level of this amazing global exclusive membership club, get locked in for that, and you'll be ready to go and set up for the next amazing event that's coming up on October 1st. And I'll drop that in the link as well so that people have that.
I just dropped it in like 5 times. So
okay, good. Awesome.
You're so welcome to drop it. I'm just saying I actually was doing that while you were talking. So
yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
This is the beauty, and now I'm doing it for a 6th time. This is the beauty of me having these 2 computers right now. So I'm so excited. So I'm doing it because I can, basically.
Yes. I love it. And one of the important things too is that that I want people to understand, because a lot of people know me as the branding, media, and marketing, expert, which I am, but Business Builders is just that. It's about building business, all different kinds of business, brick and mortar, online, different industries. And it's about building that foundation of a whole bunch of different business building stuff. So it doesn't matter if you're already at the 6-figure stage, or if you're at the multi-million-dollar stage, or it doesn't matter. Like, we're bringing in high-level guests. We're also building the foundation stuff. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It doesn't matter where you are in business, you will get value out of being a part of this, not to mention just the overall network that is being built. So there's all kinds of different benefits at all levels. Like, this is not something that's just for the beginners or something that's just for the millionaires. Like it's being built in a very, very unique way. And one of my doctorates is in curriculum design. So it's like, this is something that I'm an expert in building, like building programs, building, experiences and opportunities just like this. So it's a unique design. This isn't just a random membership club or, whatever. There's things I'm doing about it that are very, very exclusive and very unique that I don't think anybody else is doing quite like this. So there's a lot of cool things going on about it, but it is about building business, lots of different types of business. So it really doesn't matter what type of business you're in. Like this is the group you want to be a part of and get involved with. So I teach a lot of different things. I've been doing this a long time, and I teach and design curriculum, for universities all over the world. I taught MBA programs for almost a decade. So this is something I'm very experienced at doing, and I'm excited to be building out. And now is your chance to get in on the ground level of something very, very incredible. So Marianne, thank you so much for asking me to open up this event. I love being a part of your events. Every conversation every month is completely different. And I love the fact that this is about leadership, because you really cannot have leadership without integrity. So that was just something on my heart to really share today, rather than going a deep dive into, branding strategies. I wanted to do something a little bit different, because you really can't show up in the ways that you need to with branding, media, and marketing if you haven't done the internal work first. And so that's a really important piece, because you're showing up externally in ways that you probably don't even realize, because you haven't done the work. And that is equating to your impact, and that's equating to your sales. So I really want people to think about that correlation and what they need to do right now today to be building that stronger foundation in leadership.
So true. And I just want to say about your program, I'm in it. I love it. It's amazing. Honestly, if all you ever got was the speakers, that would cover, like that would be more than enough for what the price is. But you get so much more. And the fact that a lot of it is recorded and you can watch it over and over again and anytime you want, and it's on your time. And then you do get that special time with Lori. I really hope the first is going to be in the evening, because I'm in a course all day and I don't want to miss anything. I don't like watching recordings. I like the recordings for the other stuff for sure, but I don't want to miss being with, I don't know who the speaker is. She doesn't tell me either. So I'm excited. Anyway, yes. Thank you so much, Lori. We are now going to go over to Cedric. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day. I love having you open for me. I love that you always take the time to come on here. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.